All that is what we call reality. However, both knowledge and awareness are equivocal. One's reality might be another's illusion.
Yo, so the title should be somewhat self-explanatory. In part 1 is shown a world within which ninja are tasked to do missions. The legendary Sannin are adulted as the strongest ninja, who put fear into the hearts of ninja from distant lands, a title way more prestigious than the Jônins, obviously. However, the hype will be short-lived with the introduction of Itachi Uchiha, who disproved the invincibility of the Sannin by easily beating up Orochimaru. We know Itachi can individually beat them up, that's not really a question. The real question is, can he beat them collectively? Can he beat them together? I think this is quite an interesting question because the Sannin unironically, when working together, yes, get a teamwork buff, so they're stronger when working together. You guys are probably wondering why that's the case, and you're gonna find out very soon, don't worry about that. By the way, some of you guys watch my content but aren't subscribed, so don't forget to subscribe and like the video. I'd also like to welcome back a guest to the channel. You guys know him quite well. Say hi, Six.
Yo, so this matchup is between the strongest version of JIRAIYA, TSUNADE, and Orochimaru against the healthy Itachi. Let's just say at the beginning of Shippuden, they feel the urge to team up and bring Itachi in, and Itachi is forced to fight them to the death. Could they do it? First we'll go over the Sannin. Can they even beat an unhealthy Itachi, and then a hypothetical one who is healthy? The Sannin get to start at full power, otherwise it'd be kinda unfair. Itachi in character wouldn't give them the chance to transform or use certain jutsu like Sage Mode or 100 healings. Also, we're not going to be using any of the Boruto era Sannin, otherwise the scaling chain can get a little weird. So to get started with the matchup, how strong are the Sannin? The three, JIRAIYA, TSUNADE, and Orochimaru, are implied equal or at least relative to each other at full power. You gotta remember that they are a team, so if they aren't able to keep up with each other, then they would be able to bring out the best of each other and do team combos. Remember, it supposedly takes a Sannin to take down another Sannin.
So beginning with TSUNADE, she was capable of harming base form JIRAIYA when he was spying on her. This could be comedic, but TSUNADE is also stated to be a match for the other Sannin according to the first fan book written by Kishimoto. Although TSUNADE still might be weaker than the other two Sannin when it comes to base. Since that feat in that statement could be referring to Prime TSUNADE, using her full capabilities of 100 healings, which doesn't happen until Naruto Shippuden when she fights Madara. So TSUNADE should be below the level of Kakashi at the beginning of Naruto Shippuden. This is because it's stated that Kakashi is the #1 ninja in all of Konoha, and TSUNADE is still considered a ninja during a third data book. It should also be noted that TSUNADE hasn't used the 100 healings full power yet, so it's pretty consistent. And this also doesn't mean that Kakashi is stronger than JIRAIYA at this time, because the third data book only covers up to volume 43. And at this point JIRAIYA is dead, so it makes sense for Kakashi to be the #1 ninja when JIRAIYA is gone. It's only when she fights Madara alongside the other Kage TSUNADE goes full power and uses the 100 healings to remove her physical restraints. This is a very similar process to the first gate that Lee and Guy use, that removes the brain's physical restraints so the human body goes from using 20% to 100% of its physical power, which is like a 5 times increase in power and speed. It should be noted, just like the first gate, her body begins to deteriorate when using 100% of her power. However, the 100 healings instantly heals all damage caused to herself, so her physical power is obviously way above her normal durability, which doesn't change. TSUNADE can summon Katsuyu, who can wrestle with Manda and Gamabunta at least briefly. Katsuyu's main use comes from her acidic properties and her healing. TSUNADE can also use her healing abilities to help her comrades, which might actually come in handy when helping the other Sannin take down Itachi. We know Sakura in the Sakura Hiden novel can use her healing abilities to such a high degree it actually destroys the cells of her opponents. So yes, technically this healing ability can be used as an offensive weapon. So depending on if you think TSUNADE also has this ability too, regardless of how durable or strong Itachi is, he can be harmed by this ability, making it automatically dangerous in this fight.
When talking about Orochimaru's power, in part 1, it is implied JIRAIYA and Orochimaru are around each other's level. Since they are stated equal in the first guidebook, we know that Orochimaru, for example, is evenly matched with the third Hokage Hiruzen and is capable of single-handedly destroying an entire country. If anything, he's probably stronger than Hiruzen because apparently he's strong enough to clearly state he's stronger than Hiruzen, as well as Hiruzen being a quote-unquote boring pastime for Orochimaru according to the data books. This is further supported by the idea that Hiruzen finds the resolve to kill Orochimaru in their fight, whereas Orochimaru doesn't really find that same resolve. So in his base form alone, he should be a bit stronger than Hiruzen. He then gets access to Sage Snake when he uses his 8 Serpents Jutsu, his most powerful summoning. This snake is meant to be the strongest Sage Snake beyond even Manda, which is impressive because Manda is stronger than Gamabunta, who you could sort of imply Jiraiya kind of fears. This snake is also stronger than Orochimaru himself, so when it comes to abilities, he's got Manda as a summoning, Manda stated to be stronger than Gamabunta, explaining why Gamabunta and Katsuyu had to team up against him. Orochimaru is also known for his poisons, as well as his semi-immortality, in which he can keep regenerating himself through armies of snakes. Itachi might find it hard to keep him down.
So how strong is Jiraiya? Being Orochimaru's equal should place him comfortably at the level of Hiruzen, and yes, he is stated Orochimaru's equal according to the data book. Especially considering that Jiraiya thinks that he's at the level where he can take down Orochimaru despite thinking that he killed Hiruzen. And obviously at this stage he didn't really know that Orochimaru had lost a lot of power and lost his arm, so he couldn't really weave jutsu. During the second Shinobi War, Jiraiya learned Senjutsu while training on Mount Murabuku. According to the second fanbook, he surpassed the other nations with his Sage Mode that he'd learned. So it makes sense for him to be the strongest person in the world at that time, possibly, with his Sage Mode. Sage Mode is hailed as a superior Sage transformation, superior to the second curse mark. I remember me and Six were talking prior to this. He brought up the idea it might not necessarily be the more powerful form, since all we know about Sage Mode is that it's a more controlled variant of Senjutsu in comparison to the second state of the curse mark, hence its lack of deformation. But if we're being completely fair, Sage Mode is claimed by Shikamaru's father as a form that propels you to another realm of power. This guy's probably the smartest person in the world, at least at the time. When he found out that Naruto had achieved Sage Mode, he thought that nobody in the village would be helpful to him. So Sage Mode, at least narratively at the time, was one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful transformation by law. So if the second state of the curse mark makes you about 10 times stronger and gives you about 10 times more chakra than before, I'm pretty sure that Sage Mode should at least give you a similar or relative amp. That'd explain why Orochimaru was still obsessed in finding and giving Mitsuki a perfected Sage Mode. Anyway, with this power, he kept up with suppressed pain. We know he was suppressed since pain is stronger than Sage Mode Naruto, who is stronger than Sage Mode Jiraiya. Meaning pain must have been holding back against his sensei. There could be money reasons for this. He couldn't push himself emotionally to kill his master. Or if you don't think that's the case, it might be the fact that he's fighting in a hidden ring village, so he doesn't want to destroy his own homeland. So he couldn't use a Shinra Tensei or Chibaku Tensei at all, otherwise it would risk destroying the actual village. When it comes to ability, Jiraiya has a few interesting ones. He's obviously got access to Gamabunta, who's a threat to base Jiraiya himself, and can chop off one of the One-Tail's arms. Jiraiya also has petrification via Senjutsu, which does spread to the rest of your body if you do absorb it. However, I doubt that Itachi will try and absorb Senjutsu, and I don't even think he has chakra absorption abilities anyway, so I don't know how useful that is. Jiraiya's most useful jutsu is probably the one that is granted for Ma and Pa. They're able to emit this audio genjutsu, which is stated to be the strongest audio genjutsu, so Itachi should be wary of that ability for sure.
Together, the Sannin are meant to be stronger than the 5 Kage. This was stated in the second fan book. I've talked about this before in some of my own videos. The second fan book covers up to the 5 Kage summit. So the 5 Kage it should be talking about is the one that's including Danzo, not saying Tsunade herself should be stronger than the Tsunade and the 5 Kage for some reason. Doesn't really make sense. Individually, the Sannin should be stronger than the average Kage, seeing as it's a 3-to-5 ratio, and together they're all just stronger than the 5 Kage. However, this is only referring to Jiraiya without his Sage Mode, since Sage Mode Jiraiya transcends the status of a Sannin and becomes a Sage, at least according to himself. So could Itachi contend with the group stronger than the 5 Kage? I think it's probably worth mentioning that the Sannin get a teamwork boost as well. Without trying to meme, what I mean by this is that when the Sannin work together, they essentially get 3 times as skilled as they are normally, or you could say 3 times more powerful. So this isn't them getting physically stronger, however, them using their abilities in jutsu and coordination to each other could pose a problem for Itachi.
Now we can finally move on to Itachi, yes, the edgelord himself. Now Itachi doesn't really need an introduction, y'all know who he is. He's seemingly stronger than Sannin level, however, it might be a little bit convoluted how much stronger he is than that level exactly. Is it enough for him to beat up the Sannin collectively? Well, we do know that he can easily beat down Orochimaru even a few years ago, when Itachi was just in his early teens, simply by glancing at him and cutting his arm off, meaning he is physically stronger than him, and he didn't even have his Mangekyo Sharingan active. If he had had it active, he would have been drastically stronger. Orochimaru always wanted Itachi's body as a vessel. As weird as it sounds, it's true. He believed if he had Itachi's body in the fight against Hiruzen, then he would have easily won according to the anime. Anyway, Itachi would go on to rematch Orochimaru. This time Orochimaru would use his 8 Serpents Jutsu, but would still get one shot unfolded by a blind, fatigued, almost dead Itachi, which is kind of embarrassing, but that's just how much stronger Itachi is than Sannin level. So ultimately, this moves us on to who wins a fight. Now, if Itachi faces a Sannin, then he most likely kills him as fast as possible since he knows that his stamina isn't his forte, and that a few uses of his Mangekyo Sharingan would put him out of commission. The reason he's stronger than him is because when he's ill, he's still stronger than Heavy Sasuke, who he was suppressed to, and you gotta remember this Heavy Sasuke was superior to Mangekyo Sharingan Sasuke, according to Jugo. This same Mangekyo Sharingan Sasuke is in the same league as Sage Mode Naruto, if not stronger than him, honestly, since Naruto thinks that he's stronger. This same Sasuke is also capable of fighting Killer Bee. Of course, he's getting destroyed by Killer Bee at first, but as he gets stronger and adapts to the Mangekyo Sharingan, he's able to keep up with him. He's even capable of cutting his tentacles, setting him on fire, and gives Killer Bee the hardest challenge he's ever faced. All I'm trying to say is Itachi's stronger than Mangekyo Sharingan Sasuke, which does make sense. I think he even admits so in a Jin Raiden novel, which is set around the time he unlocks the Mangekyo Sharingan. And this Mangekyo Sharingan Sasuke is at least relative to Sage Mode Naruto, who's stronger than Sage Mode Jiraiya. As stated several times, the whole narrative is Naruto needs to surpass his master in order to beat Pain, which he himself couldn't. So Itachi, even ill, since that is a Itachi Sasuke remembers fighting, is stronger than Jiraiya in his Sage Mode.
Realistically, I see Itachi going for Orochimaru first, since it's pretty clear that he doesn't like him, like at all. After that, the teamwork amp doesn't really apply as much anymore because one of them is dead. It's not like they get physically stronger and faster together anyways, just more skilled. At worst, Itachi just seals the 8 serpents Orochimaru up again with the Tosca blade, so he doesn't have to deal with his regeneration or poison. Tsunade's durability doesn't scale to her AP whenever she's on 100 healings because she can constantly heal herself even if she happens to break bones in that form. Imagine she's taking damage from herself and Itachi is also dishing out damage to her, so Itachi kills her with a headshot using a ranged attack, let's be honest. She should be the easiest one to take out. Jiraiya and Tsunade wouldn't really do much if Itachi is cased up in the Susanoo, considering they are mainly close quarters fighters, meaning none of the trio can effectively deliver the hacks like poison or cellular destruction. Ma and Pa's audio genjutsu could potentially work since it's the strongest genjutsu at the time of the 3rd data book, which is kind of weird, but even granting that, we know later on Kabuto's Senjutsu enhanced genjutsu, which could be stronger, trapped Itachi, but he breaks out of it with the help of Sasuke. Ma and Pa's genjutsu could trap Itachi if he's alone, but according to them it takes a while for it to function and get the chakra built up for it. So because Itachi is set on finishing the fight quickly, which he would have his mediocre stamina, he'd beat the Sannin and their summonings before it could take function. In the Akatsuki Hiden novels, he puts hundreds of bees under Tsukuyomi, so it might be possible for Itachi to put all of his opponents in this fight under a genjutsu if he's straight up faster than them all, let alone using his ocular abilities like Izanami or Izanagi. So round 1 goes to Itachi pretty handedly, who seems to be a level above the Sannin entirely, and he doesn't really have to use things like a Amaterasu or Tsukuyomi, which he probably could a few times. Around the time he fought Sasuke, he'd use Tsukuyomi once when fighting Kasame according to Naruto Revolutions, which is canon to the anime, and again versus Sasuke. After that, he managed to use the Amaterasu several times as well as his Susanoo, so his stamina isn't even all that bad, if we're being honest.
Now, some people might try and bring up that really cringe feat where Itachi runs away from Jiraiya in part 1 of Naruto. But to be honest, he didn't necessarily run away because he was scared. He probably ran away because, you know, he was a double agent. He wasn't unnecessarily gonna kill one of the Leaf's most respected and powerful ninja just to flex in front of Kisame. According to Kisame, they ran away because Jiraiya was one of the legendary Sannin. Just for reference, Itachi's already beaten one of the legendary Sannin, Orochimaru, easily. So clearly being a Sannin isn't as threatening to Itachi as it is Kisame maybe. Remember, this was part 1, so Kisame may have got stronger himself in Shippuden. Kisame doesn't really know how strong Sannin are either, he just heard they're very powerful. The legendary Sannin status is definitely higher than the legendary swordsman of the mist, so Itachi should win round 1 quite easily. As for round 2, Itachi is healthy, so there's no way the Sannin can beat this version of Itachi, because blatantly he scales higher than them and has higher stamina as well. Just for reference, Itachi with his normal Sharingan is KCM Naruto level. KCM Naruto states that he's way stronger than when he fought Pain, So KCM Naruto is way stronger than Sage Mode Naruto, who's already way beyond Sage Mode Jiraiya according to several sources, as I stated before. Itachi then gets even stronger when he uses his Mangekyo Sharingan. We know he's capable of fighting ninja like Sage Mode Kabuto, who claims to have been the strongest and closest thing to the Sage of Six Paths, at least at the time, despite of him knowing of Edo Madara and Edo Hashirama. Whether you believe that or not, it's still probably quite impressive fighting somebody of that caliber. We know the Mangekyo Sharingan increases your chakra by several times, and you can also do larger scale attacks with this chakra. We know normal Sharingan Sasuke went from hardly being capable of harming Killer Bee and fighting him, to then fighting a fully transformed Eight Tails when activating his Mangekyo Sharingan and getting used to using it. So I think logically we can assume that Itachi gets drastically stronger from using something like the Mangekyo Sharingan, not just chakra wise, power wise, speed wise. So I just can't see the Sannin winning or contending with him when he's just way stronger and faster than them. I guess Jiraiya could try to use Dark Swamp to sink Itachi's Susanoo maybe, but Itachi can still walk on water, so there's not much that can be done. So in conclusion, just to wrap it up, Itachi's just too strong and too powerful for somebody like them. Their teamwork amp shouldn't be much of a deal either when one of them's already down. Anyway, if you liked the video, subscribe, press the like button, check out my other videos, and oh yeah, don't forget to sub to 6. He makes Naruto content that you guys would definitely enjoy if you like these kind of videos. So at least check out his channel. It will be linked down in the description. Is there anything you want to say, Six?
Thanks to Bullet for having me on the channel again. It's always fun collabing with him. So yeah, goodbye.
Anyway, thanks for making it to the end of the video, and peace out.